When your whole life gets flipped upside down, how do you react? How do you decide to move forward when you're being pulled back? How do you choose to see light when it continues to rain? And how do you find your rhythm when you're being forced to stop? This year I had a bingo card with goals. I launched a business, and within 2 months I found myself being betrayed by someone I trusted, moving my life down the country, and then dealing with family pain that shifted my entire perspective. And then I challenged myself to do something. And in that decision, everything changes. You find something to move for that pushes you through rainy days. You show up for yourself again and again and again. And now you're here. 2 months away from 2026, finding yourself all over again. So like I said, when your whole life gets flipped upside down, how do you react? This is a series of that. As a 20-something-year-old working out who he is outside of work, outside of his surroundings, and outside of his limiting beliefs. This is episode 1 of Building Rhythm. Welcome to a day in the life of me, and welcome to a new series, Building My Rhythm. I have been here all day. You are joined with me and Ads behind the camera, who's come down from Wales last night, and he's staying with me tonight. We're basically grafting on building the relaunch of 6am Collective, and we're going to call it the 6am Collective 2.0. We're basically building a new feature inside the product. We woke up at 6, ironically, and we sat here, we grafted out a few things, and back into my seat. I've been sitting for ages. I feel like an American movie where some nerd is building Facebook, and he's just sat in this basement drinking cans of Monster and eating chicken nuggets for weeks on end. That's sort of what I feel like right now. I'm not far off it, to be honest. I'm gonna tell it now that I just...
Hasn't been posted just now.
Did it work?
I just clocked 60 minutes.
60 minutes? How did it... Yeah, so it worked, but it got the time completely wrong. 60 minutes. Didn't work. Didn't work. Attempt 3, fail. As long as you don't, it doesn't set it off when the second you join, then we're already making progress. It's 6:20. I'm about to head to the airport. It's difficult to know what to bring when I'm going for a month, creatively, trying to work out what equipment I need and what I need to take from one hard drive, the one that stays here, and put it onto the one that's the travel hard drive. It's not easy. It's been 2 weeks since I came home from my cycle across Europe, and it's crazy how quickly things can go back to normal. You can be away for a year, experience a new version of yourself that you never thought would happen, and yet things back home don't seem to change. Sometimes I feel like I've outgrown it, and sometimes I crave it. I crave my home. And that balance is what I've been struggling with for years. Launching an online business and building Words with Russ has shown me opportunities and a lifestyle that I've always wanted, and that freedom. And in full transparency, over the year as I've struggled with my personal life, I've lost that income. So for the next 6 weeks, you're going to see me lock in and build my rhythm. What is happening, people? It's 6am. Welcome to a sunrise walk in Qatar. I've actually already been here for 4 days, but I haven't filmed anything. I've just been enjoying life, allowing myself to exist. And a lot of people have been sort of saying, why Qatar? What's going on there? Well, as someone who's spent so much time over the past sort of 10 years traveling, there's certain places that you want to come to just simply exist and enjoy existing. Qatar is one of those places. The weather's nice, it's quiet, it's safe, there's good coffee shops everywhere, there's good Wi-Fi everywhere. It's very aesthetically pleasing for me to create the content and to work on what I want to work on. And it's a very easy lifestyle for me to work hard and enjoy it. You are a product of your surroundings, and Qatar is a place for me to focus. With new content opportunities and a new routine built around productivity, this is where I'm about to make things happen. If I've learned anything this year, it's that life is far too short, and we can't take what we have for granted, because it's not always promised. And if you're struggling with your content, maybe I can help. Right, let's have a check-in quickly. I'm going to review my performance, my analytics, my growth on socials, and just how I'm feeling about life in general. I always go with the quote, progress isn't linear, but my growth on social media from when I started in Jan 2024 to the end of 2024 was fairly consistent. In fact, I pretty much did grow like that. I went from 0 to 80,000 followers fairly consistently. And then it stopped. I think I hit 90 and it just completely fell off. It stopped. My engagement dropped by, maybe 1,000 to 1.5k likes per post, and that dropped down to about 10,000 views a video and 300 to 400 likes. And I was even sort of experimenting with reposts and repurposing the same content to see, videos that went viral the first time weren't even hitting 10,000 views the second time. So what I realized is when you're used to creating content and churning out consistently, so much that it actually then becomes your income and it becomes your job and everything just falls off, it's quite difficult to sit there and think, shit, what do I do now? Because this isn't working anymore. And so I have to go back to the drawing board and think, okay, what can I do to my creative process to improve this? I did lose a couple thousand followers in a month, and I thought to myself, is that it? Maybe that's it. Maybe this is where the end of the ride is. I thought to myself, in a world where everything's becoming a little bit more saturated and people are talking more openly about their feelings and they're creating similar content to what works well on social media, which is using the same sort of music as I do, using the same sort of scripting style as I do. I'm not saying I invented it, but I'm just saying it became a very saturated market. I thought to myself, how can I make this more personal? How can I make my content more unique thing? And so I decided to change two things. The aspect ratio, I moved from standard reel size, which is 9:16, and I changed that to 4:5. This made it a little bit more cinematic and it gave it a little bit more of a premium feel to my content. And I also changed the captions. Rather than going on auto and picking a font in Adobe Prem or in CapCut or whatever, I decided to go all out unique and put my handwriting as the font. Tried it once, I tried my handwriting as the font, and I tried a different aspect ratio to make it a little bit more premium, and the video went viral. I tried it again and it went viral. On TikTok, I'd been stuck on 55,000 followers for over a year. And I'm not even joking, stuck at 55k for a year. I tried out this new style, and within a month, I was at 85,000. So now I'm gonna break down how I do that. I'm not saying I invented this at all. I'm just saying I added this level of creativity to my content, and it became my most frequently asked question, which is, what font do you use? And when I say it's my handwriting, a lot of people say, how do you do that? Well, I'm gonna break it down. There's 3 ways you can do that. The first way is you can create your own custom font. So there are websites that allow you to draw an A, a B, a C, and then you are able to save that as a font. This is by far the quickest and easiest way. However, I didn't even attempt that, because if every A and B and C is the same, it doesn't have a handwriting feel to it. Every letter looks the same, every E is the same, every A. And what I love most about my handwriting is sometimes there's mistakes. In fact, sometimes I purposely spell something wrong so I can cross it out so people know it's handwriting. Second way, you can use obviously tools like Procreate, and again, use a pen if you've got an iPad and you can draw it on. I haven't done that because I personally don't like doing that. I'm not able to get neatly written words when I'm doing it with a pen on an iPad on Procreate. I'm just not very good at that. But if you're still watching this video and you want to do it the way that I do it, this is how I do it. I start off by writing my entire script out in a notepad. Physically, with a pen, I write it all out. Try and get it on a plain piece of paper. Don't use anything with black lines on there, because you need to be able to mask out the ink later on. So I use a plain bit of paper, and then I write out my entire script. Then take a picture of each page, which is usually, for my 1-minute videos, around about 3 pages. I then get my picture on my laptop, and this is what I do. So like I say, I use an aspect ratio of 4:5, which is 2160 by 2700. Just drag our photo over our video, and you'll have your text like this. This will be your script. Make sure it fits scale to frame size, so you get it like this. We're then going to go over onto the opacity, and we're going to cut out the first line of that page, which gives you this. We're going to get it into the center, keep that for as long as you're speaking, obviously. Eventually go on to, say, the next line. You're going to duplicate that text, go onto the mask, and then you're going to bring it down to the second line. Again, make sure it's in the same position, so move that back up. You'd then do the exact same for the third, and bring that back down. Keep it in the center, and then of course you would do it again for the fourth, and so on, so on, so on. You'll then highlight everything, you will nest it, and then you're going to add something called color key. Drag color key onto that nested sequence, and then you've got here, the color key is here. So you want to click this little pen tool, click the pen tool, and then click on the white part of the paper, because that's the part that we're trying to get rid of. You can keep it, it's obviously optional. If you want to have that paper effect in there, you can keep it, but I choose to get rid of it. And then the color tolerance, we want to get rid of that whiteness. So we're going to bring it up until all of that white paper around our text is gone. Usually it's around 90 to 100. We then want to change the text from black to white so it shows up. So we're going to go onto curves, and we're just going to drag the white curve all the way up into the corner to have our white text. Make the text nice and big so it's clear for everyone to see. And that is how I get my handwriting through Adobe Prem on my content. Like I've been saying, sometimes as a creator, it's not always going to be linear. Eventually your progress will stop, your engagement will fall, and you'll have to change your creative approach. That doesn't mean changing your idea. That doesn't mean completely switching up your niche or your style. It just means tweaking your content slightly. So if you're struggling with your followers or your engagement, or you're feeling flat with your creativity, break it down and bring it back to the start and work out what it is about your own content that you like. Watch your scripts over again, listen to the music, look at the font selections, look at the B-roll. How are you filming? Throughout your creative process, what part of that is your favorite? Tweak the areas that you think are the weakest. Anyway, as for me, I've just finished up a personal piece to go on Instagram later tonight. I've also been working on some content to deliver to my management, as I'm also trying to structure and improve my own direction and try and work out where I want to take things as a brand, and come up with a bit of a content strategy myself. So I'm now going to go over to Joe and the Juice, which is a cafe just down here, and I'm going to get my laptop open and I'm going to do a little bit of work. Throughout this series, I'm going to be breaking down my creative process, being transparent with my growth, my business, my life, and hopefully I'm going to inspire you to show up for yourself. I really want to create a place where we can grow together, so tune in for the next episode, and if you liked this, please subscribe to the channel, because I have something really special coming up soon.